Welcome back to Dirt to Daytona, folks. It is Kansas Speedway week, and we are on a 7-race win streak. What an amazing turnaround on our season, which started off pretty grim in the mile-and-a-half tracks. And we were doing good all season long on the bigger tracks, or on the smaller tracks, sorry. But we've gotten it turned around since we've joined Team Toyota. And we're going to continue that right here at Kansas. Hopefully, let me get out there, put down some practice laps, and we will see you, as we always do, right before qualifying. Yeah, we should be able to beat Tony Stewart. All right, here we go. Qualifying lap now underway. Right, it as well as we... Well, actually, that was a really good corner. Worked out quite well. Let's try to replicate that through 3 and 4. Yeah, I mean, it was good. It was good. It didn't look as pretty to me. I had to tap the brakes real quick, but it ended up being good.
All right,
yeah, that was really good. 32.291. Should put us on the pole. And there you have it, folks. Pole position by 6 and 6.8-ish tenths. So not too shabby.
It's a perfect day for racing at Kansas Speedway in Kansas City, Kansas. This brand new state-of-the-art facility has brought NASCAR to the heartland. Although the tri-oval track design is not unique to Kansas, a slight difference in the banking makes this track truly different.
It's set. The race is going green. There's the green flag.
I want to get out front real quick. I don't know how 1 and 2 are going to go for us, so I know that you can't hold it through. But, yeah, it was pretty all right. They'll gain up on us somewhat coming down the backstretch, seemingly always do. We're going to do our best not to roast our tires, but we'll probably put some good heat into them early on here as we try to pull away. I mean, we got that initial bump boost, and we seem not to give up too much going through 1 and 2. We'll have to see if we can maintain that going through again another lap, get us up into a better spot, or not into a better position in front of everybody else. Wow, that was actually a big gain there. We're also wearing our stuff out right off the bat quicker than them, but if we can get out to a couple-second lead and then we can kind of slow things down a little bit, I think we'll be doing just fine. Ooh, keep it off the wall. We don't need to start lap number 2 or coming into lap number 3 that way. 134-lap race. I don't know how many laps I have in the tank. I'll take a look. 28, so 30 probably. So maybe a 4-stop race. Maybe a 3-stop. 3-stop. Probably 3. I don't know. But we do have a nice lead, so that's good. Trying to think about some things that are up and coming right now as we inch closer and closer to the NASCAR Heat 5 Series. Thank you all for the birthday wishes the other day. The number of you that replied to my community tab post. Also, make sure you keep an eye on that community tab. I post stuff there all the time. Well, not all the time, but I post important things there. That's kind of because I haven't really posted much about it on Twitter or anything like that, and I will start doing that soon. Probably with the next series, I'll start to post the video releases on there as well, but right now I've just I wanted to get through this series. I didn't want to promote my channel at all. I just wanted to get out here, put down a good series, get some naturally, let YouTube do what it does, and naturally have people find the channel. We're, I want to say 6 months in, and we're closer to 250 than we are to 200 subscribers, so that's kind of cool. I will say, some of you that are really said that you're looking forward to the next series, I noted that you're not a part of it, and keep in mind, that's free. If you want your AI driver in there to root for your own driver as well, jump into the Discord server and just put a message down wherever. Let me know that you're interested, and we'll get you set up. There's also, on that Discord server, there are current screenshots of the current drivers. I've got all but one done. I think we have 8 total people on it, so we're doing really well here with everybody getting it set up. And I think the truck series is, I want to say there's 32 total drivers on there, so I think I'd want to go maximum 16, so probably 8 more spots are available. And I intend to have those drivers end up coming up with me to the Xfinity Series and then to the Cup Series as well. I might sneak in some special drivers. I've been considering doing that as well. I know there's people out there. One of the drivers that is coming in is Casey Kane. That was what somebody requested. So if you have a driver even that you that's not you, that you would love to see go through the series with me, I'll definitely consider that depending on how many slots we have open. I genuinely would prefer to be a subscriber driver just because it's a limited number of spots that I have available. So I'd want, if somebody is really interested in having their own created character in there, running around the track with us during the series, I'd rather do that for them than put a real driver or even an ex-driver down. But on the flip side, if I don't get that level of interest past what I already have, like I said, I may slip in some more old school drivers into the racing, and that'll be pretty fun to see what they do overall. We have stretched our lead out to a 5-second lead, and everybody back there is pretty tightly racing. We got 22 in the tank. So I'm going to go ahead and run that first speed up of the race. 125 left to go. We'll be pitting with about 103 or so left, depending on how this goes. And let's get back on the mic with that first caution or our first pit stop.
Yellows out. There's a spin in turn 1.
Well, that was dumb. that side contact down the straightaway that causes the cars to slide out when they go in the corner, and I just don't understand that. And you know why I had contact with them? Because I psyched myself out. I'm like, oh, we've run completely perfect. Now watch me run into somebody when I get up to the pack, and I did exactly that. What a rookie mistake. We'll watch everybody, but we're probably going to stay out.
Get set. The race is going green. There's the green flag.
So 9 leaders pit, and we pit. As soon as I saw Kenseth jump out of line, I pit.
Stay low.
And now we're where we are. But hopefully, as you can see, we'll be able to kind of drive our way up through the pack fairly quickly. I'm hoping. And, you know, a lot of cars are about to start pitting. I mean, we had 10 left in the tank, I think. Oh, crap. Is he all right? Is he going to be okay? I think he's all right. We're okay. All right, anyway, we had like 10 left in the tank. We probably went around the track 3 or 4 times when we pit. So I feel pretty confident that you're going to see a number of cars drop down to good on the pit road right here. They all go. Again, I don't know why they didn't pit. If you're pitting 2 laps after the green flag drops, why wouldn't you have pit right away during the caution? I'm not going to stunt what I do because AI is stupid. Whoa, 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 whoa. Catch yourself. Catch it. Catch it. You're fine. He's fine.
Still there. Clear high.
I had a run. He was coming down. It was kind of a bad situation, but we got it taken care of. So we're all right. Here we are. Not my cleanest around traffic. You know, it's a little unfortunate for me. I'm a better driver than that.
Still there.
But we're okay. We're doing all right here. We're back in the lead. So, I mean, we had him in the teens. We were so far in front of him. I don't feel like me pitting and then me being in the lead is really any difference than all of us staying out and me getting. I mean, I would have gotten a better lead probably coming out of pit road too, because we seem to have pretty solid pit stops.
Stay low. Still there. All clear.
Who knows? But here's where we are now. Mark Martin, Tony Stewart's still out. They obviously didn't pit with us. Rusty Wallace, same thing. Ken Schrader seems to have gotten in front of Matt Kenseth, which is interesting. I find Matt Kenseth to be the better driver, although Schrader just had a really good finish. So maybe he's just poised to make a nice little run at the end of the season and finish well in the standings. I don't know how Stewart and Martin are still out at all. They did not. I don't think they pit. They might have been one of the. Actually, they might have been one of the cars that, or 2 of the cars that pit with us. I don't know. I didn't think they were, but they're still out. So it's hard not to think that they aren't 2 of the cars that did, unless they're about to pit now. Which, judging by the weird little things going on with their relative, that they probably are going to pit. Interesting that they were able to stay out that much longer. How many laps are left right now? They were able to pull 34 laps. Mark Martin's still out. Wow. I am confused. And it looks like Kenseth got back in front of Schrader and is putting some big gap between him and Schrader. So that answered that question. Now Martin is going to pit, but again, just weird. He was able to stay out for 35 laps. So I feel like it was good that we pit just to be off schedule because of how much longer they're able. I mean, I was early on and I was backing off my corners way early on. And I think we still were going to pit with like 102 at best left. Maybe 101, but not certainly 98 laps left like Mark Martin was able to do. I guess we'll see how it all plays out as we continue this, but now that I'm around traffic, I mean, I just have to drive like I drive and not drive like I have earlier in this race where I just kind of, bumped a bunch of cars. I only wrecked one of them, which, in my defense, you get into and I like to compare games, but NASCAR Heat 5, you're rubbing all the time, side by side like that. And on this game, I think we had pretty solid side-to-side hits, and Echo River going into the corner lost it after we had that contact, and I know that's why it gets done, so it's not like
Carlo, all clear.
it's not like I didn't realize that could happen, but it certainly wasn't my intention. I have no qualms with Echo River, and nor do I care. I mean, I was lapping him, so why would I have intentionally wrecked him? It didn't benefit me at all. Even the pit stop, I then ended up short stopping, and we'll see how that turns out for us at the end of the race. Looks like everyone else is pit, though. And we've got a pretty good gap on the guys that were behind us. Ooh. Who is that? Was that Ward Burton going back in the pit road? Oh, shucks for him. We're driving it in far too deep on this run. Kind of not paying as much attention, which I need to. 18 in the tank, so I'm very curious as to how much we are able to run. This is part of the problem. I shouldn't have done that. He's going to get me on the inside because I couldn't get back to the gas fast enough. Otherwise, I would have been in the wall.
Still there.
See, this is where I was letting off when I was saving fuel. But I had to slam on the brakes there. I was going to say, but I am able to get on it then earlier than them, and that's how I was putting a gap between me and second place in that first run. But when I end up right in the line of the car I'm trying to pass, it's not going to work out for me, so that was unfortunate. See if I can work it better now. There we go.
Still there.
Get that position. He was probably my only competition to lap for a while, simply because we got like John Wood and LeGare right in front of us. They're not. Oh, thank you, John. Wow. John being a good guy there and just right in the middle of the track so I could get inside. Mike Wallace was not doing that, but that's all right. He's trying to stay on the lead lap. As a matter of fact, I think, oh no, a lot of these cars are probably a lap down because they all pit. They all pit.
Still there. All clear.
It's like we got 2x2 and then a little, 2 wide, 1 wide, 2. Oh, nope, they kind of cleaned it up. Never mind. We were getting some intense racing going on, but it looks like Borland and whoever he was racing against, is that Mike Mack up there, kind of figured it out. Henson and Spychala right in front of us, kind of side by side, but it looks like Henson's going to pass him. Maybe. He's running that outside, so you got to have a pretty good run to be able to get around him on the outside like that. And then Steve Park kind of stuck there with Borland, not getting around him. Spychala fades in behind Henson. Well, we are going to get in front of him, both of them. Now we've got some side by side action. I think it's just 2x2, right? Yep, probably. That's great. We're going to go high here and then come down low, maybe. Get on the gas, and no, I had to tap the brakes because then all of a sudden it was 3 wide. Maybe I can just roll with Park here. Oh, he goes up behind Mac. And here we are. Oh, I got on the brakes, but I was tapping him so I wouldn't shoot straight up the track. And I mean, Steve Park's fine. Obviously, it didn't even register that we had contact, but I, of course, didn't mean to slide up into him at all.
You're all clear.
That's the hard thing about a controller. At least for me. Maybe I just suck with a controller, but who knows? Maybe I suck with a wheel too. Stay tuned. We'll be running NASCAR Heat 5 with a wheel. It was,
Still there.
like I said, with that weird wobble. We'll try to figure that out too. We'll put some effort into that. I think I might know how to do it. I'm not positive, but We will see. Otherwise, it's going to be... Otherwise, I'll run it with a controller. Just, I won't be as happy because I want to run it. I want to run it with a steering wheel. That's what I have that for, is racing games. Driving games. I got Alaskan Road Truckers. Is that what it's called, the new one? Yeah, Alaskan Road Truckers. I mean, I was only messing around with the first tutorial thing. I thought it was going to be like American Truck and European Trucks, or Euro Truck Simulator, real simulation type. It doesn't seem like that, but it's fun. It'll be cool to be able to run, you know, when it's summer when you start, so you're not dealing with all the heavy snow and things like that. I'm looking forward to that part of that game for the challenge of it. Not sure when I'll even get the chance to play it, but that'll be one of those things where I just play it for a full day one day or something. It was on sale. There was no way I was gonna pass that up. I'm terrible like that. People collect whatever people collect nowadays. I collect video games. Some of which I'll never play, which is sad. I did start finally going through some of those games and playing with a buddy of mine. When the families go to sleep, we've been getting on and playing and kind of getting through some of these games so we can at least check. He's kind of like me with that. So we can at least check the games off our list. But, I mean, I don't mind because I am always of the mindset that there's going to come a time where I'm going to have either more time available or playing those games are going to be a part of what I do. You know, kind of like running Dirt to Daytona. It's what I do for my YouTube channel. So, of course, I've given it all the time that it is worth to play this game. And I think about something like some of these other games out there that if I do a variety channel or something, or stream or something where I just do variety gaming for fun, it has more of a purpose than just playing a video game. For me, I have a hard time, I said it before, I have a hard time justifying playing games without recording, or if I'm playing with friends, that's another thing, but just sitting down playing games alone, I have a hard time justifying for myself. My family doesn't care. They're fantastic about me playing games and things. That's never been a problem. More of a self-guilt thing than anything. That, and I like to spend time with my family. We've got 8 left in the tank. We will pit again, just because why not? And we had nothing to do with that crash. What do we got? Mark Martin in 42nd place currently. Is that the car that caused the caution?
Get set. The race is going green. There's the green flag. Car low.
There we go. We pit and we're back in the lead.
Clear high. Clear low.
Ken Schrader did not pit. Atwood Kenseth did pit. And, you know, there we are. Back out in the lead again. We did not have a speed up on the last run. But I would like to get a bit more... of a lead before I speed this one up for you guys. Race is going about as smooth as I could hope it could go, I guess. Some minor contact. One was just dumb and it brought out the caution. It was crap. Chris Enoch, maybe? I think it might have been Chris Enoch that brought out the caution this time. Sorry, I did read it. I had Mark Martin in my mind so much because he was on pit road that whole time. And he might still be. I think he's out of the race, so I was on him. But I'm pretty sure that it came out because of Chris Enoch. Yeah, if you look up in the pit, you can see a car over there. That's actually Mark Martin, so he's out of the race. I don't think he's having the best season. I think he's out of the top 5 in the standings even. Our first season, well, he won the championship, had 22 top 5 finishes that year. So that's why our goal is always 23. We weren't able to achieve it last year. We eclipsed it. We had 22 top 5 finishes, but we weren't able to beat it. And I think we have to finish top 5 the rest of this year to just hit 23. We're obviously en route. We're doing a good job thus far. We do still have 2 pit stops in this race. One's going to be around lap 50. And then the other one's going to be with about 20 to go. So race is far from over. Yeah, we have a lead over these 5 cars. Havel, Atwood, Howard, really absolutely no competition there, even though they are sticking up pretty well with Kenseth. He's not a lot of competition either. We are just pretty fast at this track, and I love that. We overdrive the car a little bit, but they definitely don't have the car going around the corners like we do either. So that part has been pretty nice for us overall. I just have to keep my mind right while I'm racing and not do stupid stuff like I did, well, when we first got to some cars on the track. That was stupid stuff. Atwood falling back to 5th place, getting passed by being behind 2 triple-digit cars and not actually competing with them very well. He's in the position he is in because he followed our pit strategy, which is good for him. And Matt Kenseth is the reason why we're on our pit strategy, and he continues to follow the it would appear if we have 10 or less in the tank and a caution comes out, he's pitting, so that's what we did. This next time, though, we have more than 10 in the tank, I don't think we can pit because then we'd still have to pit 2 times. And that's annoying. So our goal is to get under 60 to go. And once it's under 60 to go, we have just 1 pit stop left. If there was a caution to come out. Meaning we would pit for that 60. I know, that didn't make sense as I said it. We would pit if the caution came out with under 60 to go, knowing we only have 1 pit stop left after that. And we could get to the end of the race if we ran a full. I don't want another caution to come out personally. I just want it to run out the way it will. But we'll have to see how it all ends up. Obviously, that's why you race, because there is no script. We currently have 22 in the tank. We're going to do our second speed up of the race, and we'll be back with you hopefully when we are pitting under green.
Out.
Caution flies. We've got 14 in the tank, and we'll stay out.
Still there.
Unless there's less than 60. There might be less than 60. Looks like Mike Skinner has a blown engine. Was able to get off the track just fine. Must be oil on the track. Otherwise, they wouldn't do that. 63 to go. We're staying out.
Get set. The race is going green. There's the green flag.
So we didn't pit, which is fine. I did actually want to pit with the lap cars. And when I clicked to do it, it didn't let me. I've done it before. So now we just have nine in the tank. And if it stays green for the next 9 laps, then we will pit under green like a normal car does. Unfortunately, that means that the lap cars will be back in the lead lap likely because they had just pit before the caution. I think, actually, come to think of it, they might be a number of laps down. I'm not sure. None of the lead lap cars pit, though. So, and rightfully so. It was pointless to do so. The reason why I wanted to pit with the lap cars is because I would have crossed the line with 60 to go, which meant if I could run the car out or even save a half a lap, we were going to be good. It was going to be tight, but we would have been good to only pit that one last time after this, or after that one under caution. So as it stands right now, we have to pit this next time, and then we have to pit one more time with 20 or so to go is when it looks like it's going to be. But we're fast. We're real fast in this one overall, so I don't have a lot of concern about it. The worst thing that could happen is somehow we go a lap down when we pit, and then a caution comes out and we don't have enough time to get it back. And that's the biggest issue that could come up, is we don't have enough time. It's not that we don't have the car to get it back. It's that when those things happen early in the race, not the worst deal. You've seen us come back from 2 laps down, slowly working our way through. But coming back from a lap down with 20 or so to go is just, it's not possible. Especially if nobody else would have to pit at that point. If people had to pit and we were a lap down and we don't pit, then we get in front, and then, you know, we're vying for another caution to come out before the end of the race to put us back on the lead lap so that we'd be able to drive up through the crowd. Not that that's going to happen, but those are the scenarios that play through my head, because I can't sit here and just be the person that's like, yeah, I'm just going to come out and race a good race and win. I have to pay attention and have the reality that things could go wrong. So we'll have to see how it all pans out. We've got to pit in 6 laps. I also have to see with like 3 to go if it does still tick off normal or if we are saving any time. Because to be honest, the more I can save, the better I feel overall. Even though we're already in the window, I'm just thinking now about the cars we're racing against and when they're going to pit compared to us. Because the 5 cars that are on the lead lap with us, if they don't pit with us or before us, I have to worry about a caution between the time that I come out and they pit. So we don't want that to happen because I'll likely be a lap down. Also, I need to, I'm going to keep pushing it as hard as I can to be out as far as I can in case I can still come back out on the track after my pit stop and be on the lead lap just in front of the leaders. So, lots to think about, lots to consider, but that's racing. Some people just get in the car and drive it around and don't think about anything, but especially when you're doing something like this where you don't have a spotter, you don't have a crew chief, you don't have any of that, you got to try to figure it out for yourself and how you're going to handle any adversity that pops up your way. I think it'd be really cool if I ever do iRace to have a legit spotter that knows what the frick they're doing, like a whole manager. That would only obviously be if I was doing league racing. I'm not trying to be racing in an official B-class race or A-class race or something stupid like that. I'd be like, I need a spotter. That'd be dumb. But if I'm in a league, somehow, I have no idea what's going to happen in the future, but going from dirt to Daytona to iRacing, it would be a huge change, obviously. I think I'll be more prepared for something like that after just running NASCAR Heat 5 with a steering wheel, just so that I have that under me with driving consistently with the steering wheel, which I have been doing on Forza Motorsport, the new one. And I don't know, my steering wheel settings seem to be pretty good. I adjusted them a little bit to fit for my needs, and I've had a very good time racing in that game. Seems like the rear-wheel drive cars, obviously I've driven real cars, and they don't, when you get wrecking loose, they're not seemingly recoverable real easy, but I found that if you just upgrade the back tires to wider tires, it kind of fixes that problem. Makes the car a lot more stable. You're not doing a lot of stuff to the car to adjust it. You leave it basically stock, but to take a stock vehicle and make it more stable in that game, just widening the tires really helps that out and makes it feel a lot more realistic, for me at least. I've driven everything, all-wheel, front wheel, rear wheel, no wheel. I've driven every kind of car there is, really, except for open wheel. I don't think I've driven open wheel, like, real, like I'd say a kart or
You're low on fuel.
Oh, crap, really? Oh, wow, we're going to pit. That's what happens when I talk. I haven't practiced pitting here. I have no idea what the speed limit is for pitting. I'm going to assume it's 55. I also don't know where it is.
Slow down.
It's 45. We're good. We're fine. And we're on pit road. So, here it is. Green flag pit stops. Those cars that just passed us were all the cars that were probably in front of the leaders. Leaders just passed us. Well, 2 of them did. I assume that the other 2 should be either with us or passing soon. Got a couple flags waving. All right, let's see where we are once we get on the straightaway. I was really hoping to get out in front of this whole crowd.
Car high.
Old tires, not a great feeling when you go into a corner for the first time right on someone's bumper.
Still there. All clear. Car high.
Howard, and we are on exactly what I said we do. We are on the tail end of the lead lap right now.
Clear high.
33 seconds back. By us staying in front of Evan Howard, that saved us from going down a lap. So, with us not going down a lap, we're good. I have no idea where I was just then because we had a mouse in the house and one of our cats got it and I had to put it outside. The mouse, not the cat. So I'm not sure what I was talking about at all, but here we are racing back up, trying to wait for Havel and Howard to pit. So we're leading again. Looks like Schrader and Kenseth. Well, I don't think Schrader pit either, actually. Schrader was down a lap. He had just pit before the caution. We had passed him on pit or coming off of pit road, so I think Kenseth pit, and that's about it. And so we'll have at least a 12-second lead when
Still there.
when the other cars do
You're all
pit.
clear.
Don't really want to do this, so we're going to come inside. Yes, much better place to be on the
Still
inside.
there.
And drive deeper in, tap the brakes a
You're all
little.
Clear low.
There we go. Drive off. I know I was talking about Forza Motorsport. The whole point to that is just getting used to the steering and braking with your feet and all that. I mean, like I said, I drive a lot. In fact, my son and I are likely going to make track cars and go to Road America and do testing and just driving around on there. At some point, he just picked up a late 90s or early 2000s Mustang that he's going to start working on. So we'll see what happens with that.
Stay low. Still there.
He's a Ford certified technician. He's got like 32 certifications, so
Still there.
he'll do a good job with that car. And I'll look forward to
All
us
clear.
putting that on the track someday, hopefully. Oh, we got 25 in the tank. How many do we have to go at the line? Still waiting on Havel and Howard. They must have pit under caution. Good news, though. If a caution comes out, it doesn't matter. We are on the lead lap, so that's good. Probably the only good thing about them staying out was that everybody who was a lap off down from
Clear
us
high.
is still a lap down. Unless they passed them. I think that like 4 or 5 cars had passed them early on. I mean, if you think about it, we've already knocked off 4 seconds. We've only got a few laps, so. And they're not, I mean, they're not slow, but.
Still there.
Wow, you're fading up the track like that, huh, Bush? I'm pushing him. I wasn't hitting him, I was
Still
just
there.
pushing him. Kind of funny, though. I like doing it.
Clear low.
Yeah, I pushed that corner pretty hard, but we ended up in a good spot.
Stay
every one of these single and double digit cars, we are putting a lap down, if they're not already a lap down. I really don't know the standings behind the top 5, so. But I'm pretty sure there were only 5 of us left on the lead lap at the time. That's again not to say that the cars that were in front of Howard and Havel weren't on the lead lap now as well as us, because there were a number of cars that were in front of them when we pulled out that we have since passed. Wow, Junior looked like he slid up the track in the beginning of the corner there. I almost followed him just because I kind of zoned out a little bit. Oh yeah, that happened to speed up earlier. I kind of nicked the wall. Driving this many laps, and I was, when I do my speed ups, I'm focused just on the driving and everything, but sometimes you just kind of zone out, especially on a track like this when there was not a lot going on at the time. I wasn't paying a lot of attention, and I just kind of zoned out completely. Wasn't great, but whatever.
Still there.
Oh, let me get inside here then if you're going to stay like a... I think that their stuff is worn out more at this point than ours.
Still there. Clear high.
And the crazy thing for all those cars is unless they're able to pit with 30 to go, which they won't be able to, they still have to pit at least one more time. Or not at least, they still have to pit one more time, at least for a gas and go. I think you can get away with it on this track. It'd be slower, but not that much slower. I think you can get away with a gas and go on this track for sure. "22 seconds behind Havel and Howard, 20 in the tank. Let's speed things up. We'll get back with you. I mean, honestly, hopefully when we're pitting for the last time, which we could technically do in the next 6 laps, if a caution were to come out, and it would be our last pit stop. So we'll be back on the mic, though. Caution or our final pit stop. That was one of those moves where I certainly didn't mean it. What had happened, no, what actually happened there was I was getting a little, I wasn't completely crowded, but that's one of those minor moves on the analog stick. Makes all the difference. I ended up just coming out and tapping the front end of Labonte, which shouldn't make him spin out, but in this game it does, and there he was. So we'll pit for our last time and be back on the mic when the caution is over.
Get set. The race is going green. There's the green flag.
I waited to pit. That's why I'm behind 3 cars. There's less than 30 to go, so we don't have to pit again unless we damage the car right here.
Still there.
But we didn't.
Car low.
So far. There we go. All right.
Clear high.
There we go. Back in the lead, under 30 to go, and we don't have to pit, which means as long as we don't screw up, we should be good. Already have a 2-second lead, but that's because it's Evan Howard is probably holding Kenseth back. Howard and Havel, not exactly. I mean, they're going to finish really well in this race because they followed the same strategy we did, which is kind of awesome for them. My screw-up actually ended up being their benefit because they would have pit and been way back. We were gaining on them quite a bit, and they still had to pit actually 2 times. No, they would have only had to pit once, but they would have had to pit, and we would have at least lapped them the one time. And we ended up bringing out that caution. Good old tail whip that I apparently accidentally have learned to master. Let's get a little loose in the back end. My back end hits the front end of someone else. And the next thing, boom. You know, it's not much to talk about here at the end of the race as we've got a big lead and are driving away from the cars that had any kind of a chance with us. So we're going to speed it up, guys. We're just going to speed this one up. And we'll be back on the mic with, let's say probably 5-3 or 5 to go unless something happens in the interim. Stick around or speed it up yourself. We'll be back with you in about 20 laps or so-ish. Maybe, I don't even know, 15 laps? How many laps do we have left? 20 right now, so about 15 laps from now. All right, here we are, just 5 laps left in the race. We've got John Wood in front of us, running a little slow. And then you can see the other cars up about a straightaway in front, although a straightaway in front from being lapped a second time, as there are only 4 of us on the lead lap. And I tell you what, if I had 7 or 8 laps ago, there might only be 2 of us on the lead lap at the end of it. as we have driven around this track and put Havel and Howard 24 and 26 seconds down. We may catch them. I'm not sure. I hit the brakes there. You saw me hit the brakes, and yet it still wasn't enough. We're fine. It's fine. Did kill my vibe, though.
All clear.
Would be nice if I don't know if any other video games do this, but if you're a lead lap car, if those cars would just move out of the way, especially if you're not racing against someone else. Three laps left in this one. No signs of us slowing down. I can see Hermie Sadler back there. I think that's Daly just in front of him. It's been a good race. I mean, we weren't completely clean. I will be the first one to admit that, but we didn't affect anybody's race that was vying for a win. We definitely kept ourselves clean there. Let's see what happens, because I almost just messed up massively there. We could still lose. Ooh, we got two cars committing to pit road. That is Echo River. No, that's Hermie Sadler and Laguerre. So Echo River is up there a little bit with Daly. So that'll put those guys another lap down as we come across the line for the final lap, presented by Lamb King. Unless somebody wants to sponsor my channel, our big 240 or something like that subscribers, reach out to me now for lambking@gmail.com. Here we go, coming out of turn number 4 for the last time in this 134-lap race. We will lead the most laps in this race as we cross the line with another victory. Your top 5 in the race: Tony Savoy, Matt Kenseth, Mike Hovel, Evan Howard, and Dale Jarrett. Great job for those 2 triple-digit cars following our strategy, and it gave them a top 5 finish. Tony Savoy, who appears to have the season championship just about wrapped up, won again on September 23rd. It has been the stuff of dreams. With that victory, we are just in a fantastic position. 15 wins, 17 top 5s. Let's take a look at what we have left this season for our final season here. We have, and our next one will be Talladega Superspeedway. Not my favorite in this game. We jump into October. We'll go to Lowe's for our second and final race in Charlotte. First one this season, not so great. And we hit up Martinsville for our final time. Atlanta, final time. North Carolina. Jump into November. And of course, you know it, Phoenix. We'll call it before it even opens up. And Miami Homestead. Again, calling it before I even open it up. So, that is what we have left in the series before we jump into the next NASCAR game, being NASCAR Heat 5. However, folks, the next episode will feature Talladega Superspeedway, and that is going to do it for this episode. I would like to take a moment out to say thank you so very much for taking the time out of your day to watch my video. And until next time, and of course, as always, you take care.